What if I told you that you could provide free, unlimited feed for your chickens all year round? No more trips to the feed store, no more spending hundreds of dollars every season, and on top of that, your garden gets healthier at the same time. Sound too good to be true? It's not, and I'm about to show you exactly how it works. Here's the problem most homesteaders face. Chicken feed is expensive. The average homesteader spends over $500 a year on commercial feed, and that cost never stops. Every month you're buying more bags. Every season the price creeps up. And meanwhile, your chickens are sitting in a run or a coop, completely disconnected from the one thing they're naturally built to do: forage. But there's a solution, and it's been used by smart homesteaders for decades. It's called the three-system Homestead Method, and it provides chickens with natural feed while helping your garden thrive at the same time. No expensive bags, no dependency on the feed store, just chickens doing what chickens do best: feeding themselves. Here's what we're covering today: the chicken tractor method, the Balfour Rotation Method, and the orchard access method. 3 systems, 1 goal: free feed for your chickens while building soil health, controlling pests, and reducing your workload. If you're interested in saving money and boosting your farm's productivity, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now for more practical farming tips. We post every week, and everything we share is designed to work on real homesteads, not just in theory. Let's start by addressing the biggest myth in backyard chicken keeping: the idea that chickens need commercial feed to thrive. They don't. Here's what most people believe: chickens need a balanced, store-bought feed to stay healthy, lay eggs consistently, and live long lives. And that belief keeps homesteaders trapped in a cycle of buying feed every single month: 50-pound bags, 100-pound bags. Month after month, year after year, the costs add up fast. The average homesteader spends over $500 a year on commercial feed. For a small flock, that number can be even higher if you're buying organic or specialty feeds. And here's the kicker: most of that feed is unnecessary. Chickens are naturally foraging birds. They're built to scratch, dig, hunt, and eat a wide variety of foods: insects, greens, seeds, worms, kitchen scraps, garden waste, all of it. That's their natural diet. And when chickens are allowed to forage, they're healthier, they lay better eggs, and they cost you almost nothing to feed. But here's what happens when chickens are kept in a static run or coop with nothing to forage. They become dependent on you. You become dependent on the feed store, and the cycle continues. So what changes when you switch to a foraging-based system? Everything. Natural foraging improves chicken health. Chickens that forage get a more diverse diet: more protein from insects, more vitamins from fresh greens, more minerals from the soil. That diversity shows up in their eggs: deeper yolk color, better flavor, higher nutrition, and it shows up in their behavior. Foraging chickens are more active, less stressed, and more productive. Foraging also increases egg production. Chickens that eat a natural, varied diet lay more consistently. Their eggs are stronger, and they maintain production longer into the season without the dips you see in confined birds eating only commercial feed. And here's the financial advantage: when chickens feed themselves by eating insects, greens, and garden waste, your feed costs drop dramatically. Not by a little, by a lot. Some homesteaders eliminate store-bought feed entirely. Others supplement with a small amount of grain, but we're talking 5 to 10% of what they used to spend. That's the shift, from dependency to self-sufficiency, from expensive feed bags to free, natural forage. And it all starts with changing how you manage your chickens. All right, let's get into the first system, the chicken tractor method. If you've never heard of a chicken tractor, here's the simple version. It's a mobile chicken run that you move across your garden beds. The chickens live in the tractor, they forage inside it, and every few days or weeks you move the tractor to a fresh section of ground. That's it. That's the system. But here's why it works so well. Chickens forage for insects, weeds, and leftover plant material while they're in the tractor. They scratch, they dig, they eat, and while they're doing that, they're also dropping manure. That manure fertilizes the soil naturally. So by the time you move the tractor to the next section, the ground they just worked is tilled, weeded, fertilized, and ready to plant. No digging, no weeding, no fertilizer bags. The chickens did it all. Let me walk you through the setup. It's simpler than most people think. First, you build the chicken tractor. And I'm going to be honest, this doesn't have to be fancy. A simple frame made from wood or PVC pipe. Wire netting on the sides and top to keep the chickens in and predators out. And wheels or handles so you can move it easily. Some people build elaborate tractors with nesting boxes and roosts. That's fine. But for this system, all you really need is a lightweight, movable enclosure that gives your chickens access to the ground underneath. Next, you prep your garden beds. Here's the key. Plant a quick-growing grazing crop in the beds ahead of time. Rye works great, clover, buckwheat, anything that grows fast and provides greens for the chickens to eat. You plant it, let it grow for a few weeks, and then you move the tractor onto that bed. The chickens spend 2 to 3 weeks in that spot. They eat the greens, they hunt the insects, they scratch through the soil looking for worms and grubs. And by the time you move them to the next bed, the first bed is cleared, fertilized, and ready for your next crop. No digging, no weeding, no fertilizer bags. The chickens did it all. Now, here's where this gets really efficient. You rotate the tractor through multiple beds. Bed 1 gets chickens for 2 weeks. Then you move them to bed 2. Then bed 3. By the time you cycle back to bed 1, it's recovered. The plants have regrown, the soil is rested, and the chickens start the process all over again. So what are the benefits of the chicken tractor method? Let me break it down. First, natural weed and pest control. Chickens eat weeds before they go to seed. They hunt beetles, larvae, slugs, and other pests that would normally damage your crops, and they do it without chemicals, without sprays, and without you spending hours pulling weeds by hand. Second, soil fertilization. Chicken manure is rich in nitrogen. It breaks down quickly into the soil. And because the chickens are spreading it evenly as they move, you're getting consistent, natural fertilization across your entire garden. Third, reduced labor. This is the part people underestimate until they actually try it. Chickens do the work. You're not out there weeding. You're not tilling. You're not hauling compost or spreading fertilizer. The chickens handle all of it. That's what I call chicken power, and it outperforms manual labor in every category: weeding, pest control, fertilization, all of it. And fourth, a continuous cycle of soil enrichment. Every time the chickens move through a bed, that bed gets better, richer soil, fewer pests, healthier plants, and it requires almost no effort from you. Just move the tractor every couple of weeks and let the chickens do what they do naturally. If you want to learn more about sustainable farming methods like this, don't forget to subscribe and give us a thumbs up. Seriously, hit that button, because the next 2 systems build on this foundation, and you're going to want to see how they all work together. System 2, the Balfour Rotation Method. This method comes from Lady Eve Balfour, a homesteader who figured out how to create a self-sustaining grazing rotation system for chickens using 3 pens, 2 grazing pens and 1 scratching pen. The chickens rotate between them on a schedule, and each pen provides something different: fresh greens in the grazing pens, insects and compost material in the scratching pen. Together, they create a system where chickens feed themselves almost entirely without you buying commercial feed. Here's how it works. You designate 2 grazing pens. Each one is planted with grasses, clovers, and herbs, things that grow fast and provide high-quality greens for chickens to eat. Think ryegrass, white clover, red clover, plantain, dandelion, chickweed, all of it. These are plants that chickens love, that grow back quickly after grazing, and that provide excellent nutrition. Then you set up the scratching pen. This is different from the grazing pens. The scratching pen is where you put compostable material, kitchen scraps, garden waste, leaves, grass clippings, anything organic that chickens can dig through. And here's the magic. Chickens will scratch through that material looking for insects, worms, seeds, and anything edible. While they do that, they're turning your compost, aerating it, breaking it down. And by the time you pull that compost out of the scratching pen, it's ready to go straight into your garden beds as finished compost. Now here's the rotation schedule. You keep your chickens in grazing pen 1 for 2 to 3 weeks. They eat the greens, they forage, they fertilize the soil. Then you move them to grazing pen 2. Pen 1 gets a break. The plants regrow, the soil recovers, and the chickens start fresh in pen 2. After another 2 to 3 weeks, you move them to the scratching pen for a few days. They dig through the compost, they clean up insects, they get a change of environment, and then you rotate them back to pen 1, which is fully recovered by now. That's the cycle. Grazing pen 1, grazing pen 2, scratching pen, back to grazing pen 1. Over and over, and the whole time, chickens are feeding themselves. So what are the benefits of the Balfour Rotation Method? First, chickens receive fresh greens and insects every single day. They're not eating the same tired plants over and over. They're not depleting the soil in one spot. Every rotation gives them access to fresh forage, and that variety shows up in their health and their egg production. Second, the soil stays healthy. By rotating the chickens out of each pen before they overgraze it, you're giving the plants time to recover. The roots regrow, the soil gets a rest, and by the time the chickens come back, that pen is as productive as it was the first time. This is regenerative grazing. It's how nature works, and it keeps your system running indefinitely without degrading the land. Third, this method provides ongoing feed and eliminates the need for store-bought feed. Yes, you might supplement with a small amount of grain, especially in winter when greens slow down, but during the growing season, chickens on the Balfour Rotation Method can feed themselves almost entirely. That's hundreds of dollars saved every year, and it's feed that's fresher, healthier, and more nutritious than anything that comes out of a bag. And fourth, it's self-sustaining and reduces labor. Once the system is set up, your job is simple. Move the chickens every few weeks, plant a little extra clover or grass when needed, throw compost material into the scratching pen. That's it. The chickens do the rest. They graze, they forage, they fertilize, they turn compost, and you reap the benefits without the constant trips to the feed store. Isn't this method incredible? Imagine how much money you'll save on feed. Imagine how much healthier your chickens will be. Hit the subscribe button to keep learning more, because we've got one more system to cover, and this one is perfect for homesteads with orchards. Section 4. System 3. Orchard Access Method. This one is specifically designed for homesteads that have fruit trees or soft fruit patches. Here's the concept. During the winter months, November through February, depending on your climate, you allow your chickens to roam freely in your orchard. They forage for fallen fruit. They hunt insects that winter in the soil and around tree trunks. They eat organic matter that's decomposing on the ground. And while they're doing all of that, they're also fertilizing the soil naturally around your trees. First, provide chickens access to your orchard areas from November through February. You can fence off sections if you want to rotate them through different parts of the orchard, or you can let them free-range the whole area if your setup allows it. Either way works. Second, make sure they're kept out during spring and summer. This is non-negotiable. Once buds start forming in early spring, chickens need to be out of the orchard, and they stay out until late fall when the fruit has been harvested and the trees go dormant again. That's the system: simple, seasonal, and incredibly effective. Now let's talk about the benefits of the orchard access method. First, pest control in the orchard. A lot of orchard pests overwinter in the soil or in leaf litter around the base of trees: codling moth larvae, aphids, beetles, all of them. Chickens hunt those pests down and eat them. That means fewer pests in the spring when your trees start budding, and that means less need for pesticides or chemical sprays. It's natural, effective pest management that happens while your chickens are feeding themselves. Second, natural fertilization around trees. Chickens drop manure as they forage. That manure breaks down into the soil around your fruit trees and provides slow-release nitrogen and other nutrients. It's gentle, it's consistent, and it feeds your trees without you having to haul compost or buy fertilizer. Third, chickens feed themselves with fallen fruit and insects. Fallen apples, dropped pears, overripe plums that hit the ground. Chickens eat all of it, and they also clean up the insects and worms that are living in that fallen fruit. That keeps your orchard cleaner. It reduces rot, and it gives your chickens a free, high-quality food source during the months when fresh greens are harder to come by. And fourth, it maintains a clean orchard. Chickens clear away fallen leaves, fruit, and organic debris that would otherwise sit on the ground and harbor pests or disease. By the time spring rolls around, your orchard floor is cleaner, healthier, and ready for the growing season. This method is perfect for winter months. It's low effort, it's seasonal, and it turns a dormant orchard into a productive feeding ground for your chickens. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more useful homesteading tips like this. Seriously, hit that button, because we're about to tie all three systems together and show you how they work as one complete feeding strategy. All right, we've covered three systems: the chicken tractor method, the Balfour Rotation Method, and the orchard access method. Each one works on its own, but here's where it gets really powerful: when you combine them. Because here's the truth: a self-sufficient feeding system for chickens isn't about picking one method and sticking with it forever. It's about using the right method at the right time. And when you integrate all three systems together, you create a year-round feeding strategy that adapts to the seasons, uses every part of your homestead, and keeps your chickens fed without dependency on commercial feed. Here's how the systems work together. During the growing season, spring through fall, you're running the chicken tractor method and the Balfour Rotation Method. The tractor is moving through your garden beds, clearing weeds, fertilizing soil, and preparing ground for planting. Meanwhile, your chickens are rotating through the grazing pens, eating fresh greens, foraging for insects, and turning compost in the scratching pen. Both systems are active, both are providing feed, and both are improving your land while they do it. Then, when winter comes and the grazing slows down, you switch to the orchard access method. Your chickens move into the orchard. They forage for fallen fruit. They hunt overwintering pests. They fertilize around your trees. And they feed themselves during the months when fresh greens are harder to come by in the grazing pens. That's the cycle: tractor and rotation during the growing season, orchard access during the dormant season, and the whole time your chickens are feeding themselves while contributing to the health of your homestead. But here's the key idea that ties all of this together: you're allowing chickens to forage. You're letting them balance their own diet. You're giving them access to greens, insects, grains, and organic matter, and they naturally choose what they need. Chickens are incredibly good at this. When they have access to a variety of foods, they self-regulate. They eat what their bodies need. And the result is healthier birds, better eggs, and almost no feed costs. Now let me introduce you to the Worthington Feeding method. This is the framework that pulls everything together. The Worthington Feeding method is based on a simple principle. Chickens need greens, protein from insects, and a small amount of grain. If you provide access to all three, chickens will balance their own diet without you micromanaging what they eat. The three systems we just covered, the tractor, the rotation, and the orchard, provide greens and protein naturally, and all you supplement is a small daily ration of grain, wheat, oats, barley, whatever works for your climate and budget. That grain fills in the gaps. It gives them the carbohydrates and energy they need when forage is lean, but it's not their primary food source, it's a supplement. And here's the magic. Chickens on this system naturally choose a balanced diet. They don't overeat grain, they don't ignore the greens. They eat what they need when they need it. And the result is a flock that's healthier, more productive, and costs a fraction of what a grain-fed flock costs. So why does this work? Let me break it down. First, sustainability. Chickens are feeding themselves. They're foraging. They're working the land. They're reducing your workload instead of adding to it. And the systems you've set up, the tractor, the pens, the orchard access, are regenerative. They don't deplete the land. They improve it. That's sustainability. That's a system that runs year after year without breaking down. Second, cost savings. Let's talk numbers. Year 1, you're setting up the systems. You're building the chicken tractor. You're fencing the grazing pens. You're planting clover and grasses. There's an upfront cost, but it's not huge. A couple $100 at most, depending on what materials you already have. And after that first year, your costs drop to almost nothing. A small grain supplement, maybe some extra seed for the grazing pens. That's it. Compare that to $500 a year on commercial feed. The savings are real, and they compound every single year. Third, productivity. Chickens on a foraging-based system lay better eggs. The yolks are darker, deeper orange, almost red in some cases. The flavor is richer, the nutrition is higher, and the shells are stronger. That's not subjective, that's measurable. Studies have shown that pasture-raised eggs have more omega-3s, more vitamins, and better overall nutrition than eggs from chickens eating only commercial feed. And your customers, if you're selling eggs, will notice the difference immediately. And fourth, healthier chickens. Chickens that forage are more active, they're less stressed, they have stronger immune systems, they live longer, and they require fewer interventions, fewer antibiotics, fewer treatments, fewer vet visits. Because when chickens are eating a natural, varied diet and living in a system that mimics how they're supposed to live, they just don't get sick as often. That's what integrating the three systems gives you: sustainability, cost savings, better eggs, healthier chickens, and a homestead that feels like it's working with you instead of against you. All right, let's wrap this up. We just covered three systems that work together to eliminate the need for buying commercial chicken feed. The chicken tractor method, mobile runs that move through your garden beds, providing natural weed control, pest control, and soil fertilization while chickens forage. The Balfour Rotation Method, 3-pen grazing system that keeps chickens fed on fresh greens, insects, and compost while regenerating the soil. And the orchard access method, seasonal foraging in your orchard during the dormant months, providing pest control, fertilization, and free feed from fallen fruit. Each system works on its own, but together they create a year-round feeding strategy that's sustainable, cost-effective, and produces healthier chickens and better eggs than anything you can buy at the feed store. Here's what this means for you. No more $500 annual feed bills. No more trips to the feed store every month. No more dependency on commercial feed that's filled with who knows what. Just chickens doing what chickens are built to do: foraging, scratching, hunting, and feeding themselves. And your job is simple: set up the systems, move the tractor every few weeks, rotate the pens, open the orchard gate in winter, and provide a small grain supplement when needed. That's it. That's the system. If you're ready to save money, create a more productive homestead, and get healthier eggs, make sure to subscribe for more practical farming tips just like this one, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a video, because we post every single week, and everything we share is designed to work on real homesteads with real constraints. Now here's what I want from you. Have you tried any of these systems on your homestead? Are you running a chicken tractor, using a rotation method, letting chickens into your orchard in winter? Let me know in the comments below, and feel free to share your tips, because the best ideas come from people who are actually out there doing this work every day. And if you haven't tried these systems yet, tell me, which one are you going to start with? The tractor, the rotation, the orchard? Drop a comment, let's talk about it. I read every single one. Your chickens don't need expensive commercial feed to thrive. They just need access to what they're naturally built to eat. Grains, insects, grains. Let them forage, let them work, and watch your feed costs disappear while your eggs get better and your land gets healthier. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.